15 albums, 100 million records sold, Grammy Awards, sold-out stadium tours. REM is a legendary band with hits like Losing My Religion, The One I Love, Man on the Moon, much, much more.
New book by journalist and cultural writer Peter James Carlin looks at the evolution of the group that was started by 4 students at the University of Georgia in 1980. It's called The Name of This Band is REM, a biography. And he joins us now. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Good to have you with us. You know, it's odd that they do seem like the last great American band. Why did they not inspire others to do the same?
They inspired a lot of people to do the same. I mean, a lot of the music, a lot of their influence that we still see today is coming up through independent bands and sort of more alternative cultures. But on the other hand, you know, when you look at an artist like Taylor Swift, who jumps from album to album and does whatever she wants at any particular time, that's something that REM did first. I mean, when you think back to the early 80s and how conformist all the bands were and how the scene had gotten so kind of sleek and ossified, REM came out of nowhere and built this huge audience out of doing exactly what they wanted, playing the music that they wanted to play, saying whatever they wanted to say, and made a huge career out of it.
And they started in 1980 in Athens, Georgia. I think we have one of their first performances on national TV on the Letterman show. We're going to pull that up. But how did this start as a college band for college dropouts? And what were they doing differently that other people weren't doing? Because there's a lot of bands that play the music they like, and they just don't become really popular.
Well, they were obviously remarkably talented and dedicated to what they were doing, and they worked incredibly hard. I mean, they had this incredible work ethic of just jumping into the touring van and going and going and going essentially all year long from town to town to town. And once they went to a town, they'd go to the college campus, see the college radio station, meet the kids who worked there. And they built an audience practically hand by playing little shows, getting to know their audience and understanding that there was very little separation between who they were as college-age kids out trying to have fun and play music, and all these other kids who were maybe still in school and loved going out to see bands that had distinctive ways of being like REM.
I remember Stipe's sexuality being, I don't know if an issue, but it was a point of discussion, which, you know, maybe wouldn't happen today, but why was it an issue at the time, and how did it play out in their songs and the success of the band?
Well, when we think back to the 80s and the 90s, or the first half of the 90s, it was a time when people who had a different sexual orientation, if they were gay or bisexual or queer in any way, just tended to keep that to themselves. And I think it's kind of a normal impulse. So we don't, you know, as normal people, we don't talk to others about our sex lives and who we're dating. And so for the longest time, as REM was getting to become more and more famous, the media and other followers became intrigued because there were stories about Michael and, you know, who he was seeing and dating and like that. But he kept it to himself until, you know, understanding that in the midst of the AIDS crisis, there was such a stigma about being gay that was growing, you know, around this health crisis, that he decided that, you know, there were a lot of rumors about whether he was gay, whether he had AIDS at the time, because he was a very skinny, you know, hardworking young man as he was. And when their album Monster was coming out in 1994, he decided he was tired of dodging the questions and that there was nothing to be ashamed of regarding who he was. And so he came out of the closet in the most kind of out and proud and outrageous way, and really paved the way for generations of people, you know, celebrities, musicians following him who could be open about their orientation.
I feel like I haven't seen Michael Stipe or the band, and they haven't, I don't know when the last time they toured. Is this one of the, I mean, we keep seeing these resurgence of bands going back on tour. Would that ever happen for them? And what have they been up to?
Well, REM was always built on things that they wouldn't do and the ways that they would diverge from what ordinary bands and celebrities and artists would do. And now, I mean, as a band that broke up 13 years ago, they've been very consistent in saying, we're never going to do the big reunion tour. You know, for the longest time, they said that the 4 of them would never play together on stage again. But when they were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame last June, they, you know, that was so meaningful to them that they got together, and at the induction ceremony, you know, in the traditional point when the artist or the songwriter their songs are performed, they got up and they played "Losing My Religion" together again, just the four of them. But I mean, every year, and I'm sure this has been going on since they broke up, they've been fielding these huge offers to get back together again and play festivals, play the big reunion tour, go from stadium to stadium to stadium. I mean, look at what Oasis is planning to do next year. But they just decided, well, that's what a normal band does, and so that's not what we're going to do. And they've been very consistent about that. And maybe they'll change their mind someday. I mean, there's no reason why they oughtn't, except for the fact that, the four of them have really gone on to lives that I think are very rich and fulfilling for them. I mean, some of them just play music in clubs. Michael Stipe travels the world and sees art and makes photographs, and they're just living their best lives and having a ball.
Wow. The book is The Name of This Band is REM, a biography. You can get more at Peter's website or follow him on social media. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.